I can dig it. What's going on, Canna fam? Happy 5th day of 4/2020. We've got a whole month, 30 days worth of 4/20, and we're all stuck in quarantine, which, I mean, it's bad, but it's not bad because we're in the age of the internet, and that we should all be grateful for, most definitely. Welcome. It is Sunday. It is 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and 2 o'clock Eastern. And we kind of put the War Room on hold for a while. We got about 2 months worth of episodes out of the War Room. Thank you guys for tuning in so diligently to keep up to date with the drug war news. But thankfully, most states aren't arresting for nonviolent, victimless crimes right now in the face of the coronavirus pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it. So that's a positive thing. We hope that continues. Unfortunately, they are still arresting peaceful citizens for going out of their house and riding on paddle boats and stuff. But we're not going to talk about that today. We are going to talk about the good stuff in the news. And I'm going to be joined here in just a moment with my apocalypse partner in crime, Zig. I've got Zag hanging out on the couch here with me. And my joint went out. What a shame. What a shame. And just so anybody who's watching, I am keeping an eye on the old Freedom Hotline here. So if you want to comment, chime in, if you have any questions, we'll try to address them here, or address them here. Jeff Mackey's watching. What's up? Jeff is our awesome bug out neighbor. Jeff's been with us for a few weeks. He's got a badass YouTube channel. So look up Mac and Cheese and Piglet. And Zig's here. What's going on, man?
Oh, living the dream. It's 4:20. Bye.
I'm really ashamed at the lack of excitement that I'm seeing online, considering we've got 30 days of 4/20. It's like everybody's all preoccupied by the coronavirus and ignoring the fact that we have 30 freaking days of 4/20. Speaking of which, did you bring the weed?
Oh, there's weed.
I brought a lighter. I've got all sorts of hearts and loves and stuff. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
So we are smoking on some weed. It's Humboldt Crush. Bought from a dispensary. 18% THC, 0.04 CBD. Yeah, it's actually pretty tasty stuff. Almost smells like grapefruit or citrus.
I figured how that one smells. It is very grapefruity and very citrusy. Unfortunately, in the market that we purchased this in, they don't list terpenes. They only list cannabinoid content. You guys hear me bitch about this all the time.
We even asked them.
Yeah, we did ask them, and they were like, "Oh no, we don't." And
I mean, do that.
I don't know. It's a recreational market, so you know, it makes it difficult for patients when you're only dealing with a recreational market. I'm not against recreational sales, obviously. There's no way we should be able to limit nature. However, for people who are medicating for one reason or the other, there's certain terpenes that they take relief in, and for them, they need to be listed. Kim Fogelman is watching. Kim says, move to your right just a little bit. Oh, Kim wants to see the sign. I did a cool little trick here. If you guys notice, the old Freedom logo on the phone's backwards here, but the Platoon logo is not.
It is if I look at it.
It is if I look at it. And you know what? What's up, Zuckerberg? It's 2020, dog. How come when I have my front face camera going, you want to show everything all backwards? Shouldn't Facebook flip that? Why am I still holding this like it's a Fabergé egg?
It's more expensive.
How's it taste?
Like weed. Tastes pretty good, actually. A little earthy.
Oh, wow.
A little earthy. Doesn't taste like it smells.
It doesn't at all. It's very earthy. I dig it. I dig it. So this is supposed to be an indica. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it does. We'll see what happens. Somebody else just chimed in. Ernesto, hey, what kind of strain are you smoking on? I don't know if we've got a delay or not, Ernesto, but for anybody just tuning in, we are smoking on some good old Humboldt Crush that we picked up. Oh, and funny story. Funny funny story. The day we went to that dispensary, should you tell it or should I tell it?
Go ahead. You're the one that got scammed.
It's ridiculous. So we sat outside in the hot Southern California heat before going into this dispensary, and I walked up, all well protected.
All of us were masked.
All of us were masked. And my mask happened to be the coolest because I got it from Nature's Care and Wellness. Nature's Care and Wellness in good old Baltimore, Maryland, my home and the love of my life. So I walked up and it was a meat thermometer. So
Yeah.
It's like a laser thermometer. You pointed at meat, right?
To find out if your turkey dinner's done.
I love turkey. Anyway, so he points this meat thermometer at my head and he's like, "Oh, you can't come in because
You're running hot.
You're running hot." What?
You have 101 fever.
You have 101 fever, even though you're standing here without, pale skin, no sweats, talking to me quite normally. Obviously, you have a fever. No, bro.
She laughed and was like, scan me again.
There's no way. There's no fucking way. And they scanned me again. They scanned my mouth and they let me in. So I guess I'm happy about those precautions. For those of you who haven't been following, we have been for the past month trying to get the resources and funds to get back here with Team and the Fed at the Garden of Freedom. And we finally arrived yesterday. And after we arrived, we spent a bunch of time moving a bunch of building material around. We're going to be doing some Earthship tutorials and stuff from Adam's page. So make sure you keep an eye on him. His broadcasts are now running just Monday through Friday. And we haven't got the studio set up. I like this, though. I'm cozy as shit. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I dig it.
I dig it. But no, that's the plan, guys, is every day, at least through 420, we're going to put the war room on halt. No more weed arrests and the ridiculous regulations that cause them. Now we're going to try to keep the spirits lifted by passing the compassion and doing these virtual sessions every day because we need to celebrate 420 somehow. And after my broadcasts, I'll be directing you guys over to Adam's page to keep up. Speaking of Team and the Fed, Ben Heckman is watching. Ben, you're a rock star. I know you're following the information on what's going on with all the canceled, postponed, and altered libertarian state conventions. One debate that was done simulcast yesterday, so I'm excited to see that. Yeah, speaking of good news, though, I did want to share some stories. There was a cool story this morning that I saw.
Oh, was there?
Would you like to hit this?
Yeah.
What do you guys think essential items are? I mean, what's essential to you? Because right now you've got groups of guys and some gals that, for some of us, live 2,000 miles away from you in a big white marble building, and they are deciding what is and is not essential to you. And that seems pretty weird to me. And I realized it when the gyms were closed.
Yeah, one state that I can think of in particular said that weed is not essential unless it's medicinal, unless you're a medical patient, because they're worried about the neighboring states traveling into their state to go pick up marijuana.
Because God forbid they heal themselves.
Well, and yeah, everyone's trying to limit contact, but yeah, if you're in a state that's like that, I think it was Michigan. I could be wrong about that, but post it below.
That's frustrating. Michigan's market just opened up last year, I think, so that kind of sucks. But no, down to what is and is not essential right now. They say toilet paper is essential, right? Obviously, it's all gone. Food is essential. What else is on the essential list? Oh, golf, because that's totally essential.
Golf in New York was deemed essential, even though they're getting hit the hardest. It's essential there, and that is ridiculous. Some New York City diesel, for sure. Also, firearms are essential. I believe that debate is actually beginning for firearms. I've been kind of following that closely because I'm a staunch Second Amendment supporter. And that debate is already happening. Are guns essential? Are gun stores essential? And, well, it obviously is. But
to some people, I mean, your money is essential, right, to keeping food in your family's bellies and roofs over their heads. But some people are being closed down. Now, over in the UK, I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited about this story. Hold on. I had to screenshot it because I totally don't trust my internet at the moment. And this came from holdmyblunt.com. Unfortunately, there is no author or publishing date on this article, which is kind of weird. But Masked activists handing out free cannabis, toilet paper, and hand sanitizer. So this beautiful, beautiful warrior of light decided that he's going to take essentials out to people. He's going to make sure they can wipe their butt. He's going to make sure they can clean their hands after they wipe their butt. And then he's going to make sure that they can stay happy and lifted while they're stuck at home.
Yeah.
So cannabis is essential.
Cannabis, toilet paper, and hand sanitizer. Right now, all those are currencies of some sort, aren't they?
I would think so. I mean, I think people are like trade and bartering here. Let me take a hit, and then I'm going to read this article to you guys. Because there are, you know, like I said, instead of reporting the drug arrests, since there are so few right now, Adam's handling all the news, all the non-weed, all the normal life stuff that, quite frankly, stresses me out, and I can't really. I mean, I had a nervous breakdown. It's like we were waking up getting the damage report every morning for a few weeks.
Yeah.
It was insane. But we're going to focus on what's going on in the news around all this. That's awesome because the private sector is really knocking it out of the park here without the government forcing them to do stuff. It's pretty incredible. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised at how the private sector is stepping up without being forced. But I'm happy to see it. It kind of goes to show that is where we should be leaning.
Team people for the win. I'm just saying. So let me read this article for you guys from holdmyblunt.com. Masked activists handing out free cannabis, toilet paper, and hand sanitizer. It's not cannabis toilet paper. It's cannabis, toilet paper.
Comma.
No, and. And hand sanitizer. So there's your grammar lesson for the day. A masked activist has been driving around the streets of Manchester, doling out free toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and free cannabis. The man, who goes by the name Outlaw, has previously grabbed the headlines for handing out money to the homeless as well as giving away free weed in Manchester City Centre, which is awesome. This was pre any pandemic. He was just going around, you know, giving money and joints to the homeless. I've got a fun story about that when I'm done. It goes on. It says his latest viral stunt comes amid the UK coronavirus lockdown and sees him handing out essential lockdown goods, as well as €800 worth of the illegal plant to grateful residents around the city. So in the UK, this is still illegal. And this man, who is anonymously going around
breaking the
written law, but he's lifting people's spirits. I mean, he's doing good for humanity. How can you say that somebody who has been going around just passing out money to the homeless and joints is not a good person? I did a huge thing in 2017 quietly. I kept like little pinner joints in my car all the time, like 0.3 grams, like little pinner joints. And I was living in Baltimore then, and you see the homeless people on the side of the road all the time. And I would, instead of giving them money, give them these little pinner joints. And their faces, bro, I mean, just lit up. And it's like that could have been the nicest thing anybody did for them in days, weeks, months. Who knows? That could have stopped somebody from like running for the needle that night. I'm not saying it cured their other addiction issues instantly, but I mean, think about that, right? Maybe that joint kept him good enough to stay out of a bad area that night. Maybe they missed a shooting or something.
And you know, I got a similar story. I was going to college in Oregon and for energy systems engineering, and every time I'd get my student loans, this one dispensary would give dollar joints to veterans. And so I would go in there and I would buy like 50 joints, and I would do the same thing. I would just drive around looking for the homeless people to hand joints out to. And they're even the guys that said, "Oh, I don't smoke weed," would take it because they would be like, "Oh, but I could trade it for something later, whether it be food or what have you." Yeah, like
still a resource.
I bet you I would enjoy that more than $1 if I was them.
Yeah, me totally too. And like past the compassion, guys, it always comes back to you. Like I can't tell you how many times just this past October I was doing a concrete job, if you guys can believe that, up in Toledo, and I was sitting in a Denny's completely broke. I had like $10 left that needed to last me like another 4 days on this job before the first check came through and I could actually feed myself. No transportation, no means to go to a food bank, just whatever. $5.99 grand slamming it at Denny's every day, just roughing it out, right? And I sat there, and a gentleman came up to me, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I recognized you. Maybe blah blah blah." And it wasn't like a flirtatious thing. I know you gals are used to that, even you guys, right? But it was no, and I said, "Oh no, thanks," and yeah, come on,
never happens.
You're a total babe. But I just smiled, and we had a quick exchange. And the woman came over, and she said, I don't know if you know just what happened, but that older gentleman, when he was leaving, he came by, and he gave me a substantial amount of money and told me that your meal is on him and I could keep the tip. And I still ordered the $5.99 grand slam. The only thing extra that I got myself were those fried donut holes. You had those things at Denny's, those little blueberry. Oh, God.
How could you not spoil yourself with that?
So I had to spoil myself a little bit with an extra $2.99. But dude, I don't even know, that guy could have given her a 50 or something, and I didn't gorge out. And I hope that woman got a great tip. So just keep the compassion cyclical. I'm gonna catch up on the comments here for a second. Marcus Poulos joined in. Marcus handles all of the press release stuff for the campaign.
Well, hello, Marcus.
Marcus is a busy man. Especially now with this gigantic bump in the road that we have that we call Corona. Marcus says, I would accept free weed. We're not afraid. And Marcus, I don't even think you partake, brother. I don't recall
we ain't scared
having that discussion with you. But yeah, you take that because maybe you come across somebody that can benefit from it, down the street. Who knows? So the outlaw actually quoted in this article, he said, this week, I've given away over 300 packs of toilet roll. I guess they call it toilet roll across the pond. 4 ounces of cannabis, hundreds of small sanitizer pots, and 6 large crates of bottled water.
Dude handed out a QP.
Just
to his community. Can you do that?
In 1 week.
Let me know where you are so I could be part of that community.
And he didn't run to the media and pull his mask off and say, hey, look what I'm doing for ego and for... No, he's just doing this. He's just doing this. And I bet you he's getting so much joy from doing this. People take for granted how much joy you get from doing good for other people. Maybe that sounds like greedy or selfish. But no, when I see that, like, I'm the one who made somebody smile, that makes me feel really freaking good, man. You?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, totally. He says, I was cruising around at 4 miles an hour. This is the best part. I was cruising around at 4 miles an hour in the middle of the road, city center and outskirts of Manchester, playing Bobby McFerrin's Don't Worry, Be Happy through a large speaker in the back of the van. So this dude steps it up one more notch and is rolling down the street, old school, thumping Don't Worry.
Be happy.
I can't whistle because my mouth is dry. Don't worry. Does that show my age? Do the millennials even know that song?
I mean, I do.
That should be the song of the Corona apocalypse. Don't worry. Or Hakuna Matata. I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. So what ways has your community helped you? Or have you helped your community? Is there anybody that has any examples? That would be nice to hear.
It would be, because I know that a good number of the people that tune in and interact and follow what, my activism efforts, Adam's activism efforts, the platoon's activism efforts. Oh, I want to plug also, I forgot. You know who's doing good? SDZ.today, who are also from over the pond, but quite over the pond in Australia.
The other pond.
The other pond. They have released, and it's in my story if you guys want details. I'm gonna light this.
Okay. Actually,
you can kill that. What are they calling it? Can a pandemic? I gotta look it up. They're doing a movie night. So SDZ.today is a social media network that has been in the works for like 2 years. I don't think I've told you about this yet.
I haven't heard about this.
It's an activist network, or it's a social media network built by activists for activists, where there's no censorship and Zuckerberg doesn't come in and squash your article because he doesn't agree with your opinion on things. Pause.
Sounds like free speech, almost, isn't it?
It's incredible. And it's worldwide free speech.
Wow.
Unregulated because it's on the internet. And nobody's going crazy, and people aren't losing their minds, and worlds aren't imploding. It's incredible what people can do without regulation. That
I don't think that's the cause. Maybe.
That's up to opinion.
Maybe it was the brooms. Maybe it was that website.
That's up to opinion. But SDZ today will not censor you. It's free to join, and they do cannabis activist movie nights where they have featured cannabis activists from across the country. The flyer always says the nation's most actionable, or the world's most actionable cannabis activists. I don't want to toot my horn. The Canademic. So the cannabis activist Canademic. And unfortunately, because my head was just not there. You guys, I will not make a video if I'm not feeling it. Ask him today. I can't fake through a live feed if I'm just not centered and grounded and I haven't in
the right headspace.
Yeah. So if you guys don't ever see me, that's why. And that's why I wasn't able to participate in this. But April 12th from 8 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Central on sdz.today, there is going to be some information from awesome activists across the country. Some people from the Anonymous Network, those guys have been incredible and monumental and nameless since the early 90s. But let's see. Wendy Love Edge and Topher Keegan are going to be involved. Mike Wise, Carrie Cannon, Stacey Thies. I love Stacey. Stacey introduced us with Tom the other day.
Oh, okay.
Jill Landry, Jenna Champagne, Carrie Accardi. It goes on. Marie Hemp Shields. I'll come back to you, girl. And Alex Gentry, and there is going to be some musical support by ? Because this cut off the bottom of my picture. So make sure you guys tune in. That's free. It's an awesome thing to do while you're on quarantine. Everybody's got to be doing what they can. I'm going to check the comments. Let's see. Oh, Danielle. Danielle says, wow, I finally get to catch you live. Danielle, I'm going to be doing what I can now that I'm finally settled here at the Garden of Freedom with what could be America's most solid and compassionate bug out team, at least that I've met. I can say safely. You've met a lot of nomadic groups.
A lot of nomadic groups and a lot of nomadic people, and this one is pretty solid.
This one's pretty solid. I love this family that is here and continuously growing. But Danielle, every day, 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday, following my broadcasts, you can catch the coronaphobia update on Adam Kokesh's page. He's going to keep everybody up to date with the news and the politics and the some would say negative stuff that I don't want to talk about. But he definitely does an awesome job at keeping it lighthearted. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Would you agree? Yeah. So we will be getting the studio set up here, and things are really going to pick up. Ben Heckman says, does decorating my community with graffiti art count? It's funny, Ben Heckman. You guys have heard of Ron Banksy?
Banksy in the UK.
I don't know. I feel like there might be some awesome art coming out in the streets, the empty streets of the UK here soon. I don't want to say.
So I'm going to go ahead and vote yes.
Yeah.
Does adding art to your community count as something you've done for your community? How could art be a bad thing?
And you know what? I've had this argument with people. I'm pretty tight with the libertarian principles of non-aggression, and so violating somebody's or vandalizing somebody's property, right, is a direct attack.
Sure.
On their property, right? Therefore, it violates the non-aggression principle. However, if you're can you violate non-aggression principle if you're vandalizing on public property? Is it even vandalizing if it's property, for instance, in the UK, Russia would be included, that the government and the people own, right? Because it belongs to the people, right?
It's public property.
Public. Is that a violation? I know I've got a few libertarians watching, and I also know there's like a 30-second awkward delay. So I'm going to talk a little bit slowly here, but that's going to be the question of the day: is does graffiti on public property, where you're not violating anybody's personal property, and especially if in the form of Banksy, it is revolutionary in terms of the message that it gets across, and beautiful. It's all artistic. It's beautiful. Does that violate somebody's space? Because whose space are you violating but your own, right?
The argument could be made that it's violating everyone's, but I again can't see art as a violation, and his art is on point. So go ahead and check him out if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't fuck with private property, Ben Heckman said. Never, ever, ever. And I like the street blasting, the power washing campaigns. So there's some campaigns, I'm not gonna name any of them, that go around town with stencils, and they actually clean the sidewalks with power washers. So there's no vandalizing going on. You're just cleaning in a pattern, and that's beautiful too. Ben Heckman says, I have no respect for government property because I did not consent to pay for it, and that is a huge argument. You're right. We're everybody's born with thousands, like the day you're born, you're in debt to the government.
Oh yeah.
Thousands and thousands of dollars. Before you even make the first noise out of your little baby mouth, before the doctor slaps your ass and makes you cry,
you have a number.
You have a number and a portion of the debt. If you give birth at home and you don't have a social security number, you can avoid all those things, but then you can't participate in the free market. And I mean, wouldn't that be considered discrimination?
Wouldn't that be considered cruel and unusual punishment? I feel like there's a constitution thing that says that we can't do that. Yeah,
Marcus says they stole the property, so they gave up that right. So yeah, he's saying that the government stole this property from the people. It's still ours, and you know, if I decide to make artwork on it, I think that's okay. But if they decide in turn to paint over my artwork, that's something that I have to accept too.
Sure.
Right? I mean, we can't like all have it our way. It's this live and let live principle is very important. Yeah, there's no such thing as public property. There's private property, unclaimed property, and stolen property.
I like that.
Definitely a more accurate description. Just like a drug arrest is not an arrest. It's
an assault.
An armed abduction where they then take a person, they kidnap them, and then they hold them for ransom. Which, you know, that's totally normal if you haven't hurt anybody in World War II era Germany. Wake up, America. We are way too good.
America's internment camps.
We are way too good. Yeah, I feel like we're still enslaved, but they let us, go about our business and do it ourselves.
Well, now we all are, aren't we, under quarantine?
Quite literally. So, yeah, the Outlaw over in the UK is doing what they can to keep spirits lifted. And I mentioned Marie Hemp. That is my sis from a different miss up in Wisconsin. She runs Cloverleaf Farms, and they've been growing hemp and mushroom spores and things of the such for quite some time. And they are doing what they can to get the word out there. So I actually tagged them in the comments. You guys make sure to check out Cloverleaf Farms. A couple of you who have won some of my mystery questions have gotten some free hemp seeds courtesy of Cloverleaf Farms. And they actually updated their website, which I thought was pretty cool, to remind everybody that they're still shipping. And they updated, says, all buyers, please note, we've been getting reports from all of our buyers across platforms that all shipments from us to you have been delayed. We have shipped everything, but even with tracking, there are bugs in the system. Once package bound for Maryland, tracked Dublin, Ireland, but was delivered safely eventually to the recipient in Maryland. So apparently there's something screwy going on with the post office. I wonder if that has to do
with Corona. I know at one point they said non-essential shipments are going to be stopped. I don't know if that was nationwide, but
yeah, we had some stuff shipped out ahead, and it still hasn't showed up, and the same problem persists. But do trust and believe that you have the Commander-in-Chief's word that my 4-ounce General Marie Hemp is a woman of her word, and you will get what you were getting. I was reading down our website here, and I felt this was interesting to share. So in the frequently asked questions,
Mm-hmm.
it's all normal, boring, blah, blah stuff. But at the end here, it says, if I become abusive, will you continue to do business with me?
You know, they put that there because of a reason.
Of a reason. Her answer, so before you guys go there and get all demandy pants on her, no. If we get abusive with Cloverleaf Farms will cease to do business with you. And they have that right.
That seems pretty fair.
It seems pretty fair. It really does. I worked in automotive for longer than I'm going to admit, because I'm only 21 years old in my head. And let me tell you how abusive the customers were. I mean, they come in and they literally think you built, broke, and like pissed on the hood of their car or something. And they treat you as such. And it's disgusting. And you're told that for your small wages, you have to sit there
and take it.
And take that abuse. And I'm here to say, no, you don't.
You always have a choice.
You always have a choice. And I left that good job, okay? Well, truth be told, my condition had a lot to do with it. But that was my body talking to me. It was telling me I couldn't do this anymore. Like, mind, body, and soul. It's all got to be balanced. It's all got to be balanced. But I left that job where, you know, I was making, you know, the salary that one needs to comfortably survive. But I wasn't comfortable being verbally abused every day. So am I comfortably compensated?
A living wage doesn't necessarily mean that you have to suffer abuse.
It doesn't. And I decided one day that I wasn't going to take that abuse anymore. And I walked away from something that I had trained my whole life for. I went to school for automotive technology in high school. I mean, this is literally something I trained my entire life for. That turned out to be different than what I expected, and made the decision to make myself happy. And you did something similar.
Oh yeah, universe, or the man plans and the universe laughs. I was in the military for a lot of years, got my bachelor's degree. I ended up working in public sector. I was a vet rep for the employment department in the state of Oregon for a lot of years, and I lived a very comfortable life, and I was surrounded by a lot of cool stuff. I had a lot of cool stuff.
Cool things.
And I was miserable.
Did you get to play with those cool things ever?
Yeah, and then they got boring after a month or two, and then I just replaced it with other cool stuff. So it clicked, and I was miserable, so I ended up selling all my cool stuff. And I put in my month notice for my job, and then sold my home and got into a minivan and converted it and hit the road, and I've been traveling ever since. Now I've got a motorhome. It's nice to have a kitchen and a pot to piss in.
Always convenient.
But yeah, I've been traveling now for over half a decade, and I don't know if and when I'll ever stop.
Why?
I don't know yet. We'll see.
If it makes you happy.
Well, for now it does, and like I said, man plans, the universe laughs. So I just don't like to plan much out anymore. Small plans. What am I going to do for this season? And then you wing it.
Yeah.
I love it.
The Christians say, give it to God. The country music singers say, let Jesus take the wheel. I'm sure the other religions have something similar. But yeah, you gotta just, kind of go with the flow. I call it riding the black wave of life. And I just gotta stay on the surfboard, right? Like if you're on a surfboard, like you want to go right because there's a gigantic, beautiful bag of weed over there on the right side of the shore. But the wave takes you left, and you try to go right anyway. What the fuck's gonna happen?
Yeah, you can't fight the current.
You can't fight the current. You just gotta kind of go with it, and that's all we've been doing for shit. We were in Nevada, camping. Thought we were gonna be there for a while.
Yeah, we're at Lake Mead.
Had to leave. Didn't have to leave. Made the choice to leave because I didn't want to be near a major city in case anybody freaked out.
Had we stayed, though, the choice would have been taken away from us because they closed Lake Mead, our public land. They closed it and said that you cannot use it. So there's all these full-time RVers like myself and travelers who had nowhere else to go, so they're filling up parking lots and BLM land that has not been closed yet, and they have nowhere to go. So I know that there's a lot of people in that same boat as me.
It's pretty, they're displacing people that are not homeless, but nomadic. I hate that word homeless. Houseless, maybe, but Home's where your heart is.
And they have
Cliche
at Lake Mead.
one.
We had all the services we needed.
Everything.
We had waste receptacles for the RV and for our garbage. We had clean water, and we had nature. And we were able to social distance because there was plenty of open space. And they took that away from them, and now they're packing into parking lots where they can fit and on the sides of roads in cities.
Which is kind of increasing. I mean, I'm no medical expert, nor
Exposure.
Yeah, it's putting people, it's making them move when they otherwise would have just might stayed, right? So then it's none of this makes sense. This isn't how any of this works.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one. Oh, do you guys notice? Apocalypse here. I'm gonna have fun with this. For anybody who's known me growing up, you know, as a mosh pit princess, and I dressed like I came fresh out of a Motley Crue tour bus in 1987.
Her crown is the scars.
I just showed my age. Anywho, and then I was told by society that my choice to dress the way that I feel was not acceptable, and I couldn't get a job that way. And now I'm choosing to just be comfortable again, and it feels really, really good, guys. I took a week of. Oh, I also wanted to share one more thing that Marie Hemp shared. She said April 4th source message. So this would have been from yesterday. She says, anxiety has nothing to do with how weak or strong you are, but rather how much you allow yourself to be grounded before anything tries to shake you. It's much easier to push someone off a mountain if they're already standing next to the edge. The work you're doing now solidifies your ability to remain rooted in the stillness no matter the circumstances. That's how important this is. You're laying the groundwork to live peacefully within the existence of your own mind's eye. So, I don't know, I got goosebumps again. Like, and I'm not that guy that you know, believes every single inspirational quote I see in a meme. But we're all being forced to be still right now. Don't act like you lost the ability to go to your backyard or go to the beach or until martial law is declared. Cannot tell you. But do take the time to sit with yourself.
Self-care. You have time now.
Outside.
Self-care is important.
And don't freak out about the money, right? I mean, it's...
Freaking out will not help your money situation. It won't help anything at all. Freaking out just basically makes a situation much worse. And when my anxiety peaks, I like to think of it as my body has learned to respond to situations like possible danger. And that emotion that you're feeling, that anxiety that you're feeling, is your body preparing itself for a challenge.
Yeah.
It's physical response to a challenge that you're facing. So use that as a tool to face that challenge. Your body's responding to your environment. So lean on that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. It could be rechanneled into just being prepared for a challenge.
That's it. It's kind of like the tension in the arrow. You pull an arrow with the bow back. There's all sorts of tension in that.
It's called potential energy.
Yeah, and the more tension it is, the more painful it is for that string and that bow to like stretch, the further that arrow is going to go, and that's the desired end result, right? Mm-hmm. So don't look at it as stress, man. Ben had a wave of life black because there's this musical artist named K-Flay that I'm super into, and she wrote a song called Black Wave, and it spoke to me. And it made me realize that analogy that I just gave you. So it's the black wave in honor of the art that inspired me to realize that. I wasn't told to think that way. Art gave me the inspiration. And I was probably stoned too. I think I was stoned.
I think that goes without saying.
What's everybody smoking on right now? We already told y'all what we're smoking on.
Coffee
on. You know, I'm sitting here now wondering, because I know I'm a patient in Maryland. I was a patient in Colorado. in Arizona now, and they have reciprocity, meaning that if you're a patient from another state and you're in possession, they won't hold you, at fault or give you any kind of weird fines or fancy new wrist jewelries. But they won't let you access the dispensary. So I've got to go through that whole process of getting a medical card here, which is fine. But I wonder, and I don't know, because I'm totally not familiar with Arizona's cannabis law. I should look that up right now. My Google. But I wonder if they have home grow allowances in Arizona.
Oh, that's a good question.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Let's see, Arizona cannabis.
In Oregon, you're allowed to have up to 4 plants.
Right.
I know California, you can grow your own plants. Washington, you can't. You're not allowed to home grow. Washington State.
That's how Maryland is. And in Colorado, you can have X amount of plants. If you're a patient, your doctor can write you more plants. In fact, when you register in Colorado, you are given your allotment. I'm going to say 6. I don't know if that's right or not, but just for the sake of argument, okay? So me as a patient in Colorado, when I registered, I have a 6-plant allotment. And when I go to a medical dispensary, this doesn't apply in the recreational market, but you get much lower taxes in the medical. You don't get any better quality. You just get much better prices and lower. The prices are only better because the taxes are lower.
Same with Oregon.
Right. So when I go to a medical dispensary, I have to register with them as a patient. And as a patient, I am subject to their specials and deals. I can get like an ounce for $50 or something out there at some places. Okay. But I'm allowed to shop at other medical dispensaries, but I'm not allowed to access their deal prices for a 30-day running cycle. And that is because when you register with the medical dispensary, maybe we should talk about this tomorrow and do some homework about it, because I'm still confused. The way I understand it is when you register as a patient, you have your 6-plant allotment, you go to the dispensary, you register with them, they get your 6 plants. Like the waiver it signs away your right to grow, and they are growing on your behalf, which means at their facility, they're allowed to add 6 more plants for that 30-day cycle.
So Oregon, you can do that too. If you're a patient, you can assign somebody else as a grower, but I've never heard of a dispensary.
Yeah, it seems very weird.
Stealing that. It almost sounds like you didn't consent to that.
Well, you did, because they make you sign this thing, but if you don't sign this thing, you can't get that stuff. So it's pretty.
Hold your plants hostage.
It's pretty forced. Let's see. You gotta. How much? Or how many people? How do people obtain a card? I'm on azcentral.com.
Learning about the Arizona cannabis market.
Arizona conditions, qualifying conditions: cancer, glaucoma, human immune deficiency disorder. That's the HIVs. Acquired immune deficiency disorder. That's the AIDS. Hepatitis C. I am not going to... ALS. I can't pronounce that word.
Alzheimer's is... Yeah,
Alzheimer's. And Crohn's.
Nice.
I'm safe. Also, any chronic... Oh, okay, see, this is the same thing that it says in Maryland. Basically, anything. The wording is, any chronic or debilitating disease or medical condition, or the treatment for a chronic or debilitating disease or medical condition that causes wasting syndrome, severe chronic pain, severe nausea, seizures, muscle spasms, and that's about anything. Any condition is going to cause you severe nausea or pain.
I haven't actually heard of any mental health. Do they have any mental health coverage for cannabis in Arizona?
Doesn't look like it does. Now, in Maryland, the end of all that shit that they have written down, it says any condition that has not been successfully treated by traditional pharmaceuticals. So basically anything. Like if you go in and say, hey, I have headaches and this Advil doesn't work, that gives the doctor the right to use that asterisk thing down the bottom.
I'm going to dig into Arizona's mental health medical coverage for cannabis because I'd be curious.
So it says you pay $200 to $300 to the doctor. You got to pay the state $150. They do that for half for people on welfare and food stamps.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. How many places can you buy? Okay, this allows you to buy 2.5 ounces in a 14-day period. Now, I was allowed to get a half a pound in a 30-day period in Maryland. You get a 1/4 pound allotment, and if you have a serious condition, the doctor can write you up to a pound a month, and I had a half a pound. But these guys are letting you have 2.5 ounces and a fourth.
Wonder if
they ain't gonna cut it if you got cancer, though.
I wonder what they do for concentrates. I wonder how they measure that.
Yeah, it's usually very equivalent.
You can't get a pound of concentrates.
That's crazy. All right, so it doesn't say anything about growth here. Edibles and extracts.
Yeah, we'll have to dig into that.
Punishment for possession. Let's see what the Normal website has to say. Shout out to Normal. When I got here, I went to their website to look for this information, and it said reciprocity, and I went to the dispensary, and they were like, nope. And I called Michael, the head of Arizona Normal, and I've probably met him before at some lobbying event or something, but I don't recall. And he was right on it. And little birdie told me he might have talked to both a Democrat and a Republican representative who may or may not think that emergency reciprocity might be a good idea.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Considering people are stuck in Arizona that can't get back. Gosh, yeah, it still looks like it says manufacture, cultivation, felony, 6 months to 2.5 years.
Can't grow your own in Arizona.
It usually sale. Okay. Yeah, patients can't grow. It doesn't look like. I'm gonna look into that. I don't want anybody watching this to take this at face value or like God's honest truth that you can't grow as a patient in Arizona. But I don't see it here. And when I'm not talking to you guys, I will do a little bit more research on that and see what's going on. We've got like 10 minutes left in the hour.
Oh, damn.
We're going to go back and let me see some comments that we missed. Oh, Joseph Nudd's watching. What's up, brother? Joseph, thank you for throwing down, man. I did the You Got 5 on It campaign.
I got 5 on
it. To try to fund us. Here, our solar panel broke. We had to use extra gas. Life did what it was going to do and not what we wanted it to do.
Right. It laughed.
But we made it.
We are. We made it.
We got by with a little help from our friends. And we didn't stress out about it. And there was a lot of shit.
Yeah. When it rains, it pours. And it did.
It did. A lot of shit.
That panel falling and shattering was... That was not okay.
Ben says if he had any marijuanas, he would be looking for the NYC diesel. But alas, the conservative parents. And that's good that you're respecting their house rules. I mean,
that
it
matters.
is what it is. If they don't like it, they don't like it.
Respect your hosts.
Respect your host. So, Ben, huge shout out to you for that, for respecting what your folks want. But Ben says moving out in a couple of months, though. Party. You'll have to call us in Zoom, Ben, when you move out, and we can do like a...
we can Zoom.
Yeah, we can Zoom virtual sesh. If anybody's interested in joining the conversation, we do have the ability to phone you in and go live, and we can split screen and we can chat. But you're going to need to email me first because...
That's just the way the world works.
That's just the way the world works. So Joey, Joie, at thefreedomline.com. Unfortunately, my contact me at GI Mary Jane email's been shut down from lack of resources, and I don't think the website's going to be up much longer. But while it still is, gi-maryjane.com. Hopefully I can, get GoDaddy at bay within the next 30 days here. Speaking of which, if you want to throw $5 down on the website, Cash App info is going to be in the comments. You guys, I appreciate you. Everything that I do, I wouldn't be able to do without the help of the community, dude. I can't even, over the years, it's incredible, like the amount of support.
That's pretty cool.
From complete strangers to begin with, right? And often they become friends, but originally from complete strangers, like this level of compassion and support that I'm not going to say I didn't see it, but most people don't have the opportunity, even within like their family units, to experience that. And it's so humbling. And that's why I continue to, live without my creature comforts and focus on what I can do for relief, to keep people informed, to work on these bills and stuff. I do miss lobbying. I didn't do any lobbying activity this year, except for, stop it. We did all those state conventions from November clear through February, March. And that was invigorating.
And then Corona.
And then my Corona comes in and screws up the party. It screws up the party. A few more comments before we bolt on out of here. Kim Fogelman says, why given to the government cannabis just has to be dropped from the Schedule 1? You get their card, it's taxed the fuck out of, and it's costly, and they can follow and use your fight for our rights. Adam's had card, and he's in prison and lockdown, so many fighting for their lives. Now, Adam, for those of you who don't know, not Adam Kokesh, Adam is Kim's son, who is doing, Kim, is it life or like 20 years? But for simple cannabis possession.
That's disgusting.
It's motherfucking disgusting. It's gross, and that's why I'm doing what I do. And he's still there. Kim, what state is he in prison in? Because they're letting everybody out, and it's just really disheartening. I want you guys to, seriously, since we're at the end of the broadcast here, focus on that. Keep your stories for my conspiracy theorist nerds and my news nerds watching out there. Bookmark your articles about what states and what counties are releasing the nonviolent offenders, because there is no excuse once this pandemic is over for them to continue to lock those people up. If it was so safe for these states to release what they're claiming to be these violent, bad
during an
emergency situation, if they felt that it was safe enough then, there's no reason these people can't be.
They shouldn't have been in there to begin with.
Exactly. There's no reason they can't be amongst society on a regular basis when everything's calm. Because the last thing you want to do is introduce any chaos into an already chaotic situation. So they are openly admitting that these people are not dangerous simply by their actions. So pay attention to that. Keep some lists. And we'll go from there. Ben says that he is in for the Zoom virtual sesh, but he's got to walk his dog now. Ben, don't get arrested
for walking the dog.
I know it's one of those like on the gray area thing. You make sure you get a mask for your dog. Yo, I heard dogs get corona.
Yeah, I read that there was 2 confirmed cases in China, if you can believe the information coming out of China. But I can't say they're not testing dogs, because there's not even enough tests for people.
Yeah, we know this. This is all ridiculous. You guys don't believe everything you hear, but hear everything that you see in order to make an informed decision. We're going to twist up a joint here. We've got 7 minutes left.
Do you know how bad of a stoner I am?
How bad of a stoner are you?
I cannot roll a joint freehand. I use this fancy little machine. And then I get these, like, from the factory beautiful joints.
They are beautiful. But they're like cigarette size. That's too much when I'm smoking by myself,
But you're not by yourself.
But I'm not by myself,
Aw.
I'm not. I'm with you.
And Zag.
Oh, where's Zag? Zag?
She's napping
Zag's
next to you.
Oh, Zag and Tag. She's so wonderful.
I am Zig. This is Zag.
Make sure you check out Nomadic Zag on the old Facebooks.
It's been a minute since she's updated her Facebook, but she does have more friends than me.
She's way cute.
If you dig through the videos, you can see our reunion video, because she was stolen from me at one point, and I got her back 3 weeks later because of the power of social media.
Yay, social media and team people. Woo! Clap, 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 clap.
So if you want to see me cry about a dog, check her out on Nomadic Zag on Facebook.
It's okay to cry, especially if it's about a dog, man. Especially if it's about a dog. Look, I just picked up my phone and Facebook zipped me off of the live feed. I can't read the comments because they're really far away. My glasses aren't that great.
So,
Kim's
it says Ohio is where her son is locked up, and they are not letting any out with cannabis charges.
For what? What
about meth charges? That's a Schedule 2.
I'm saying.
So are they letting out the meth charges and not the cannabis? That's, I don't know. But
I don't know. And, to each their own drug, but somebody doing meth has a much higher probability of becoming violent or angry than somebody smoking cannabis. So, what?
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 Can't let them get out and get stoned during a pandemic.
I know. How dare you have all those calm human beings out and about? Ugh, that's awful. Jimmy
So sorry,
Gaston
Ken.
just tuned in. He said, "Hi, Jimmy. You're like an hour late, bro, but it's okay because potheads do that."
We're at the tail end. You'll have to tune in after she shares it.
Yeah, you'll have to tune in tomorrow too. And again,
Same bat time.
same bat time. Can we wait?
Same bat soup time. Same bat soup channel. Oh, did I tell them about the quarter?
Show them the quarters real quick.
Okay, this isn't even it. I don't know where they are, but I had change given to me not too long ago. It was an American U.S. minted 2020 quarter. This isn't it, so you may not believe me. But the back of it had bats on it. A 2020 quarter. I think it was for their National Park edition. Like, this was planned out probably years ago, what they were going to put on the back of these ones. But 2020, they released one that had bats on the back of the quarter, and we are all dying of bat soup plague.
Simpsons called it.
I feel like that might be synchronicity. I don't know if it's conspiracy. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist. I'm sorry for those of you out there who don't like that, but I think that's quite a synchronicity.
The aliens are real.
Aliens. Don't let me take my hat off. I could look like that guy. Aliens.
Cannabis! That's what I say. Cannabis!
Cannabis.
Oh, yeah, some crazy stuff going on, guys, but it doesn't matter. That's the end of the day. None of that shit matters. What matters is your vibration and keeping it high and keeping it lifted.
You can't control the world. You can control you.
Yeah, and if we all control ourselves, it'll probably sync up pretty well. I think. Or it won't. But if it doesn't, like,
You can still control you.
you can still coexist with people you don't get along with. Hell, you get along with that guy at work that you can't stand, right? I mean, how many of you people watching about your job for 10 years and there's that one dude that just irritates the piss out of you? You can't freak out at him, right? Because you'll lose your job, right? So you don't. You hold yourself.
Or you just lose your job.
Can't we, like, extend that into real life? Yeah, unless you feel disrespected, then fuck that dude. Respectfully. Respectfully. I hope my kid's not watching. Sorry about
She never
the
talks like that, I
language.
swear, Marshall.
They never talk like that. They never talk like that. All right, guys, make sure you visit a couple of websites, thefreedomline.com. You can keep up to date with the libertarian presidential run of what hopefully will be America's last president, Mr. Adam Kokesh. Check out gi-maryjane.com. While it's still there, there's a donate button in the top right corner. If you got a couple bucks down on it, we can knock out this GoDaddy bill. It's not much. It's not much. And I'm not gonna like hit you guys with some monthly subscribe thing because I don't feel that in my soul. If you like it and you want to keep hearing it, I got buttons for that. There's an app for that. If you don't, I might just have to like not have the website one day. It's fucking whatever. Ride that black wave. Ride that black wave. I hope we get some cool strains out of this pandemic though.
Yeah, Corona cough.
Corona
We
cough.
gotta breathe that up.
Corona cough. And that's it. It's been an hour. So hit me up at Joey, Joie, at thefreedomline.com. If you want to email me with any suggestions or you're interested in joining us for a sesh on down the road, we can Zoom chat you in. And make sure you check me out on YouTube as well. I'm not that active on YouTube. I think I got like 200 subscribers or something.
We should change that.
We should change that. If I get 1,000 subscribers, we can do like a real interactive thing here with the public. I mean, I feel like we're gonna be on lockdown for a while, so the quicker we can get to that.
If Jeff Mackey is still watching, he has a YouTube presence and he's part of our community now, so we can actually tap his broad base of information to see how to make that happen.
I like that. I like that. But that's it, guys. Once again, we pass joints, not judgment, because we're all in this together. Peace and love. I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe.